Okay, today's lesson is lesson 6.6. Our goal or our objective for the day is to solve systems of linear inequalities with two variables. Lately, we've been doing solving systems of linear equations, but now we're dealing with some inequalities with less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, less than, greater than, etc. So let's start out with some vocabulary. A system of linear inequalities is a system of inequalities in two variables, so an x and a y, or simply a system of inequalities consists of two or more linear inequalities in the same variables. A solution of a system of linear inequalities is an ordered pair that is a solution of each inequality in the system. The graph of a system of linear inequalities is the graph of all solutions of the system. So let's just go ahead and get started right away. Step one, here we have got two inequalities. We have y is less than 1/2 x plus 2, and 2y plus 4x is greater than or equal to 10. Our goal today is to graph this system of linear inequalities. Well, step one is to graph each inequality. So, I'm going to start with the first one here. Y is less than 1/2 x plus 2. The y-intercept is 2, and I need to go up 1 over 2. Up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. At this point, I need to make one quick note. If you have less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, remember that it needs to be a straight line. If it's less than or greater than, it needs to be a dashed line. So in this case, we are going to have a dashed line all the way through all of those points. Okay, we are not done with graphing this first inequality yet because we have not decided where we need to shade our inequality. In this problem, we need to decide where we need to shade our inequality. So we're going to pick a point, not on the line. 0, 0 is the best one to use. Plug that point in and decide if it's true. Is 0 less than 2? Yes, it is. So we're going to shade the side that does include 0, 0. But before you shade too dark, please make sure you shade very lightly in this case because you will see later what we are going to do. Okay, now we need to graph the second inequality. However, the second inequality is not in slope-intercept form. So we need to solve so that we can get it into slope-intercept form. So I'm going to subtract 2y, and you get, nope, just kidding. I'm going to subtract 4x, and you get 2y is greater than or equal to negative 4x plus 10. Then I'm going to divide everything by 2, and I get y is greater than or equal to negative 1/2, nope, negative 2x plus 5. Now I'm going to graph this inequality. I start at 5, and I go down 2 and right 1, down 2 and right 1, down 2, right 1. Since my sign is greater than or equal to, I'm going to create a solid line. I am still not done with this part so far. I need to decide what side of this line I need to shade, either over here or over here. And when doing this, it is important that you ignore this dashed line so you do not get confused. So I'm going to pick a point again. Again, I'm focusing on this line. I will pick 0, 0 again. And here, I plug 0 greater than or equal to, well, negative 2 times 0 is 0, plus 5. Is 0 greater than or equal to 5? No, it is not. So therefore, I will shade the side of this line that does not include 0, 0. So that's going to be this side over here. Step 3 and 4 is to decide where the overlap is in your graph. So go ahead and write that down and then flip back. You're going to decide where the overlap is. Now this is part of the reason why I had you color so lightly, is because this is not included in our solution, and this section is not included in our solution. The part that is included in our solution is the part that was shaded by both lines, by both inequalities. It is this section right here. So it is important that you shade this darker than the rest of the graph. Again, this is where those shaded regions intersect. It also might help if you do lines going one way for one line and then the other way for another line to see where they hatch mark and cross over. So again, we now have our system of linear inequalities graphed. One important thing that you need to make sure that you understand is that this shaded region is telling us that you can pick any point and it will satisfy both inequalities. I can pick any single point in this shaded area and it will satisfy both of my inequalities, both this inequality and this inequality. Let's say I picked 4, 0 right here. This point, when I plug this in, will make this inequality work and this inequality work. For example 2, you virtually are doing the same thing, except for instead of 2 linear inequalities, you have 3. But you are following the same system. You are more than likely going to have a triangular area that is going to be shaded dark.